Hi there, in today's lesson we're going to learn a tune called G Blues, which is a very simple blues that I've written in the key of G major, hence the title. The blues was a kind of music that grew up in the United States almost 100 years ago from now, and mainly played by black people, poor people who were sort of singing about the hard times they were having, maybe on an old bashed up guitar or an old bashed up piano. It's very simple music which we've grown to love over the years, and so this is a good example of that. We're going to start with the intro, which is a very sort of cool, bendy kind of intro, and it comes in on beat 1 of the bar. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in that intro, you've got 3 notes that are bent, and the first 2, in fact, are bent. This is what we do. We put our 3rd finger behind the 5th fret of the little E string, and we have our fingers 2 and 1 tucked in behind that 3rd finger, all on the same string. So all 3 fingers are on that high-pitched E string, and the string at the moment is unbent. It's not bent. You play the string with your plectrum, the downstroke, and then you bend it. What you want to do is bend the string probably as much as you can. On an electric guitar, you might overbend it, but I doubt whether you will on an acoustic guitar. I don't think I can on this. So I'm going to bend the string up, but before the string has got a chance to do this, and before it's come down like that, I'm going to put my plectrum back on the string to stop the sound. So that's what I call a semitone bend, stop dead. In other words, I bent 5E to make it sound like 6E, a semitone, 1 fret if you like, and I've stopped the sound with the plectrum. And I'm going to do that twice in a row. Notice I'm using 3 fingers because that gives you 3 times the bending power. 1 finger is not enough. You probably really struggle, make your fingers sore doing that. So use all 3 fingers, do 2 of those. Notice the direction is a kind of a crescent shape with the fingers around like that. So you do 2 of those. Then it's the 3rd fret of the E, first finger, 6th fret of the B, little finger, 3rd fret of the B, first finger, so you've got, then to the G string, 5th fret, 3rd finger, 3rd fret and 4th fret of the G string, fingers 1 and 2, so there's your first bar. Timing is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Don't worry too much about those funny lines above the tablature notes, the funny lines with the dots and the tiny little lines. This is a kind of a crossbreed between tablature and music, and those are showing you what in music would be dotted quavers and semiquavers. If you're not a reader of music, don't worry, it's really not a problem. Just think it's got a swing. The tune's got a bit of a shuffle and a swing to it. So you're counting 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you were to play those notes exactly how they're written, they would sound like this. You obviously don't want that, so we kind of bend the rules a little bit, like we're bending the strings, and we kind of even it out, make it nice and swingy, shuffly and bluesy. And the second bar of the intro, all on the D string, 5th fret of the D string, open D string, and then you bend 3D. Now notice the 3rd fret of the D string, when you bend it, you can use 1 finger, but pull it towards the floor, and then play open D. When you did those initial bends on the E string, of course you have to bend that way up towards the ceiling. If you went the other way, you'd run out of fingerboard. You just pull the string off the edge of the guitar fingerboard. But that one on the end there, you just pull it down. And so just a little semitone bend. I mean, you could back up and use 3 fingers on that, but you probably find your first finger is probably strong enough to bend that D string. The D string will there bend a lot easier than the E string does on the 5th fret. So there's your introduction. What you've got there in that intro actually is the last 2 bars of a verse. So the actual tune starts on the 2nd line of the tablature, and you have this riff or lick which is played 6 times. Now, same counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 2-bar lick, 2-bar riff, and you've got these notes. Open G, 3G, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, B, 3G, open G. And I've been teaching this and saying that it's like going up a hill and then walking back down there. Walking backwards down it, because in actual fact it retraces its steps, doesn't it? So the top part, if you like, the summit of the hill is 3B. And then it literally goes back the way it came. Now use your fingers properly. Third finger, 3rd fret. First finger, 1st fret. Second finger, 2nd fret. And I would, with this, cross pick it with your plectrum and go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I wouldn't play it down, 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 down. It's just making hard work of it. Now that riff goes 6 times, and you might think that's pretty boring to listen to. Well, what makes it interesting is the chords change behind it. Behind the first 2 riffs, you've got a G major chord. Behind the next riff, you've got a C major chord. Then you've got a G major chord. Then you've got a D to a C and back to a G, and you end on a D. So there's 3 chords played behind it, and that's the beauty of the blues. You can play a very simple pattern over and over again, and you can change those 3 chords behind it, and it sounds really good. Let's sort of demonstrate that, shall we? Let's just play the track here. So there's your intro, and here are your chords behind it. G, all G. I'm just doing a little pattern on the G, which I'll show you in a moment. Then it changes to C, but the riff is the same. A little pattern on the C chord there. Back to G. Change to D. And C. G. And go to the D chord. So that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? So it is the same thing 6 times. Right on the very end, that's just the beginning of page 2, you go, and you'll notice that ending of that first verse is like the ending of the intro. It's one of those endings that makes you want to go into it again. That's the idea of it, you see. So you've got the bend again then. So that riff. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and it just uses 2 strings, the G string and the B string, until you get to page 2. So your very last time, the 6th time you do that riff, you've got, and you end on the open D.